Hi, I'm Abisola Adenoga, the head of business at Techpoint Africa. Did you know that you could present yourself as a reputable brand leader? Did you know that your business can get the limelight it deserves? Now you do. Using Techpoint Africa's marketing tools, we can put you in the faces of a large audience for brand awareness and thought leadership. To do this, reach out to us by sending an email to business@techpoint.africa or click on the link in the description below.
Hello, people. This is Emmanuel, and welcome to the point. Okay, it is okay. Yeah, this is the final.
It's been a long year.
Wait, hope you guys are not restarting, though. Okay, good. Oh, right, really? You want my shame to be in the front of the whole world? All right, no problem. So, guys, welcome to Techpoint Africa Podcast. And it's been a very, very, very long year, like Nifemi said. And we've been experimenting with lots of content patterns, strategies, lengths. But this time around, I decided to pull rank and bring everybody to the house. This is, okay, there's one person behind the scenes. She refuses to be on the shot. Onome. Yeah, she's waving behind the scenes. But yeah, this is like the whole crew that has been with you throughout this year in the Techpoint Africa podcast. So you can't hear her voice and you can't see her. But of course, she has been doing amazing stuff for us behind the scenes. We've been through so many things. But yeah, before we begin to cut onions for you, let's talk about the stories that we have here today. There are some major stories that I would say left me scratching my head this week. I was scratching my head for two of them. One from the Nigerian government and one from a Nigerian startup. Then we have some very, like the bad news of layoffs also continue this week. So yeah, watch to the end to just get the full gist, and maybe I have a surprise for you at the end of this video. So, the podcast. Yes, ARCON. So ARCON is Nigeria's Advertising Regulatory Council. I still don't understand that body. But this is ARCON that sued Meta earlier this year. But we are hearing that they want to start regulating ads, that's skit makers, and anybody creating content online.
Yes. So the story is actually quite, I think it's quite interesting. And what they are trying to do is they are trying to vet everything that content, skit makers, digital publishing houses, the kind of ads they have on their platform. They want to vet everything and be sure that it's not misinformation, it's ethical, and basically that what you're advertising is something that is good for your audience.
Okay.
That's simply, in this plain simple English, that's what they're trying to do.
Okay, so I put this question to the house. Have you guys seen an unethical ad on YouTube?
Yes.
From skit makers.
Unethical,
yes.
Should you start? It depends on definition of ethics. No, people's definition of ethics is different. So it depends.
You say should we start?
So without mentioning names, there's a particular, I don't know what to call them, whether it's fintech or what's Forex brand that is signing up every single person they can lead their hands on in Nigeria. So
what is unethical about that?
What's unethical about it is that there's very little education
on Forex.
Yes. And this is Nigeria. Everybody wants to make money badly. And you're not providing me with enough information up front. So I see this person that I know, and then I go sign up to a platform, probably lose all my life savings there. Who do I go to for restitution?
It brings us back to my point. Definition of ethics.
It would differ depending on the ad. So I'm using finance, for example. Kim Kardashian was recently sued for an ad that she basically
promoted.
For a product she promoted. And I think I was talking about last week, and I said the pandemic, especially in the US, gave rise to so-called advisors, financial advisors. So you have a very large audience, and you're promoting a certain financial instrument, and people go to use it. You are not a finance expert, so you don't even know enough to advise on that. Maybe you just read Rich Dad Poor Dad and The Richest Man in Babylon, and all of a sudden, because you have a YouTube channel, you can give advice, and people take your advice. What happens? Okay, think about it. Imagine if someone invested in FTX because he saw Emmanuel's ad on YouTube and Emmanuel is an influencer.
Still doesn't. I don't think
Does that
betting
warrant?
platforms during this World Cup now. Betting platforms are all over the place. Like different kind of betting companies are promoting their ads. If you want to talk about it from a moral perspective, from my own perspective, I would say betting is unethical. Telling people to bet their life savings so that they can get earnings is unethical. But still, that is why the conversation of the government defining what ethics is a very,
very
dicey.
Yes,
situation,
because it now
because-
gets to, they're not going to be regulating what is good and bad. But I think in business, I think it's very, very clear. Misleading information, for example.
They're not necessarily
Betting
misleading.
ads are largely
They are.
misleading.
Content
don't know any-
creators should take responsibility of whatever it is
That they do.
Everybody needs
give-
to make money.
Yes,
Yes.
even in the US, the Federal Trade Commission, they have these rules there because these are audiences that trust in you, they believe in you, they are fans. You've seen how fans can relate to people they call their idol. You give them something, they are in with you 100%. So what the Federal Trade Commission in the US actually did is that there's something called full disclosure, because they understand that it's really not possible for them to start vetting ads by every single person. So what they do is you have to let the people know the relationship between you and whatever product it is that you're advertising. So is it a financial relationship? Were you paid to promote that thing? Is it as a result of you having like a personal, maybe the person is your friend, family? So you just have to let people know. Have you used it before? Do you know are there effects? Are there consequences to using these things? You have to let them know. If you have not used it before, let them know. So that is what the US did. So the way the ARCON is doing it might, because I don't really know how they even want to carry it out. So pre-exposure simply means we have to see it before it goes out. That means every single ad. So say Brashagi has an ad, Mr. Marconi has an ad, Emmanuel has a YouTube channel. These are thousands and millions of people that have ads. So how do you want to vet it?
Yeah,
And normally, even before this thing came out, it takes them between 8 hours to 2 weeks to vet ads, which will
And these
slow
creators
down.
churn out
Yes,
content
they work very
regularly.
fast. It will slow down that economy.
Hope people know what you are saying, Sha, because it still applies to brands like us. So
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
It's easier
So-
when it's just
so-
us.
all those brand press.
Yes, and we
carry-
also do that. We put full disclosure. So when you put brand press and you say this is not written by a Techpoint journalist, that's your full disclosure. So if you're going to promote, last week I saw an ad on Instagram. A Nigerian actor was promoting Uber Go. And I was talking about how cheap it was, and I'm like, tell your people that if you're not on the island, you pay through your nose if you're going from the island to the mainland. It was not disclosed there. Someone who has never seen Uber would get to, maybe you're on the mainland, you're now going to see Uber Go or Uber anything. You may not even remember it's Uber Go, but it's Uber. And then you go around, and when they now charge you 6,000 naira for your trip, you're not like, but this one told me it's 800 naira. What do you do? So full disclosure is the best way. I agree that you can't be vetting all the ads in Nigeria. Give us full disclosure so that I know what I'm getting myself into.
Okay, so yeah, that makes sense. So, okay, so guys, let us know what you think about this. Do you think it's possible for the governments to vet ads? So we just agreed that yes, there should be full disclosures on all the ads you bring. If there's a caveat, please put that caveat. If you only get that bonus until you spend a certain amount of money, try as much as possible. I mean, we usually quote it under one statement, one blanket statement, terms and conditions apply and all of that.
What are the terms
Well,
and
it
It has to be
conditions?
clear.
It has to
Very
be clear.
clear.
Yeah. So now moving on, there's another head scratcher which I'm very, 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 very conflicted about. Nigerian startup Klasha is a fintech startup, right?
E-commerce, fintech.
E-commerce.
Yeah.
Oh, joy.
They just announced a new workplace policy. If I may fill us in, please.
Okay, the policy is a menstrual leave policy. Right, this is what it means. Like when a female employee, okay, it's only female, it's only women. Sorry, it's only women that have menstruation as it were, period.
Terms and conditions.
Period. Yes. When if an employee is having their period, they are entitled to as much as 5-day leave from work to make them to get better or experience comfort while they are going through that phase of their life every month.
5-day leave is paid.
It's a paid leave.
So 60 months in a year.
No, you mean 60 days, 60 working days.
60 working days.
But it depends too. Some people have their menstrual cycle for 7 days, some 3, some 4. So it depends.
Let's just say 5 days. Like
5
when you
days.
calculate it with 5 days every month, 5 times 12.
60 days,
That's
that's
60
2 months free.
2
In
months.
addition to
In addition to your
To your
work
leave.
Yes.
and
It's,
in addition to your sick leave.
That's awesome.
yes, sick leave and
so
annual
that's 3
leave.
months gone.
In addition to public holidays.
Okay. At
Okay.
least 3
So,
months gone.
but there are a lot of concerns around it, right? One of it is the fact that the fact that it's not everybody that it's not every woman that experiences discomfort during their menstrual cycle, during their periods, right? Are you feeling uncomfortable with that word?
No, I'm not.
Yeah. It's not every woman that feel uncomfortable.
Why did you have to ask him? What? It's fine.
And then some women don't even have their periods, not because they have reached menopause, they just don't have it. And then some people have irregular periods, right? I'm trying to educate
And these
you
are
guys
all
here.
sensitive issues.
Yes, they are very sensitive issues, but we've seen cases where this was done, right? Where this kind of policy was implemented in companies. There was a need for this employee's period cycle to be tracked, either with period trackers, but as it were, the employer is aware of every woman's period cycle.
Interesting.
And the thing here is that there's no violation there, as it were. The only time there is a violation is when it is done without their consent. If the company says we are trying to implement this so that you can be able to experience comfort when you are having that time of the month, then it will convince people that you can disclose this type of information. But then, right, if it's in the HR procedure or handbook that if you do not disclose your period cycle, you will not have access to this kind of leave. That is means your hands are tied in a way to have access to it. So there are a lot of gray areas around this. Some people lauded it. Some people are like, no. This is just maybe virtue signaling, or this is not necessary. It's going to be discriminatory against men. It's going to affect people that don't want people to know their period. Because personally, I don't want somebody at work to know my period cycle. Why? I wouldn't want that. So there are a lot of thin lines around it, and you should watch out for an article on Techpoint Africa delineating some of these concerns and possibly the opinion of the CEO of Klasha CEO, that is Jessica. So yeah.
All right. Comments?
None.
Let's move on.
I knew this was an uncomfortable conversation.
No, it's not uncomfortable.
It's
but
not.
look at-
I just.
Like it's
Yeah,
not,
guys.
it's not a fair panel
yeah,
to discuss.
may they no go
this.
drag us for it.
Yeah. So sorry guys, we're going to work on improving the number of women on this podcast next year. So yeah. So we can have this left to me. This conversation should have been just me as host, then be looking at the 2 women talking.
But then these
somewhere
conversations only come up like once in 2 years.
No, I think it will start coming up regularly with the whole diversity, inclusion.
But let's see how this one
conversations.
plays out. If people enjoy it, then I guess many other people will try to adopt it.
Yeah,
but don't
sure.
also forget, this is a startup founded by a woman.
Yeah.
So it could easily, people may just give them some grace. It was founded by a guy
Hey, don't worry.
with purely male leadership. I'm not sure how people take it, but
Just so you know, there are some things I have to say I didn't say. Our timekeeper. Yeah, let's move on.
So yeah, moving on. The layoffs and salary delays at Softcom Digital. Softcom Digital. You might not know Softcom itself, but you might know one of their products, Eyowo. Yeah, Softcom is that kind of company, it's digital technology company that builds
Yes,
software
different
products. So, but Eyowo has become one of their popular products. If you don't even know Eyowo is a financial services platform. They're just like your, should I say, mobile money service, like your Paga or OPay and all of that. So, but we're hearing that there are salary delays and they've laid off at least 10% of their workforce. So, can you give us more details on that?
I think you've said it all.
Just context.
Okay, context is that December 2021, around November 2021, employees of Eyowo or Softcom started experiencing some delays in their salaries. So they reportedly did not get their salaries. Some of them did not get their salaries until 25th of December, while some did not get it until much later. So that continued up into the new year when some of the salaries were paid, or most of it, and then sort of returned to normal. They were getting their salaries, but then we're now hearing that there have been layoffs, and they've laid off, like you mentioned, 10% of their employees, which different reports puts it at between 140 and 200. So, by the way, the story was broken by Ogeneruemu. Of not a deep dive. So, yeah, that's basically who broke the story. But yeah, 10% of their staff laid off, delayed salaries, basically. And part of some of the things I mentioned is that employees did not really get a notice, like a formal notice. So a lot of them either got this via email. There was no like call by the CEO or
just prep their minds ahead.
So basically, that's what happened. Layoffs, salary delays, and all. So
okay, have we reached out to the CEO?
Yes, we reached out to the CEO, but we've not gotten a response yet. And so just stay in touch once we get something.
All right, so it's really sad to hear. I mean, Softcom fits the type of company I would expect to actually go through this period without having to lay off. So, but I don't know.
Just to point out, according to that newsletter too, it was just pointed out that some of the issues they were facing was that some of their clients were not paying, and they were also facing some investor issues and restructuring issues.
Restructuring. Okay. All right, so moving on to more sad stuff. There's Bankman-Fried.
Is he sad? Is that a sad story? Go on, please. Sorry.
So somehow I always call him Bankman-Fried. Sam. Oh, sorry. Yes, Bankman-Fried. That's why I used to call him in my head. But yeah, just before this podcast, I had to memorize the actual name.
That name should have been all the clue that investors needed. That
that's red flag.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, so I guess you can say it's a sad story depending on where you are, the perspective you are looking at it from. If you were Sam Bankman-Fried, or
if you were Sam,
it's a bad story.
Yeah,
it's a sad story if you're on his own side, because he has been arrested. He was arrested on Monday, and he's facing criminal charges, which can land him. He might be spending about 115 years in jail.
What?
Wait, come again.
He might be spending 115 years in jail if
it's a butcher in charge of the adjudication.
Did he kill somebody?
So if he is found guilty, he has 8 count charges, which includes conspiracy to commit fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering. And the maximum sentence for each of these is 20 years. But obviously, I'm sure they won't give him the maximum sentence for each of those charges. And I'm sure it will be consecutive. It will be concurrent, the way he will spend his time in jail. Yeah, but all the best to him. I'm sure he has really good lawyers. So, but if you are looking at the story from the perspective of the users, which I'm sure they feel like they were defrauded. I know someone that lost a lot of money. Yeah,
really.
I'm sure
closure is a scam, man.
Well, I'm sure they'll be happy that the person.
Will they get their money? The justice they need is their money.
They can't get.
No, they actually they are based on the liquidity, the bankruptcy. I think the CEO, the current CEO, that is trying to like get the ball rolling on people getting back there. I think there were some reports that people might actually be able to get some of their money back.
Some,
Some,
not all.
not
There's
all.
no justice in this
Some of their
thing.
money back.
Okay, it's fine. So for me, I was seeing it as a sad thing because of how it affects the entire crypto market.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
Binance,
actually like it.
Yeah.
Sadis on-
No, not
on-
because I'm
on
a
a
sadist.
good
So
day.
you know how when he was going around getting all the press, all the press mention, like basically being treated like a regular human as opposed to someone who just possibly destroyed the lives of billions of people. People were trying to draw parallels to Theranos
Yeah.
and saying that he's being treated like this because he's a man. And now that he's been caught, well, it's going to take a while before he's finally put
Sentence.
behind bars.
Mm.
I am hoping that he actually gets to do time so that we can put this argument to rest that he was treated differently because he's a man. I know some people will have like different opinions, but finally the argument can die a natural death. That's why I'm really happy. So,
Okay.
Good luck to him.
Good luck to everybody involved and good luck to all the people in the crypto market this period. I've liquidated everything. It's remaining to.
Yeah, I actually just bought in and I'm doing well.
Bad.
You
It's bad
can-
PR. It's bad PR.
this is a good time for you.
It's
No,
tough.
it's people like him who advance civilization according to what they tell us. They are eternal optimists.
I'm
They
doing
always
really
believe
well,
that things
honestly.
will get better. So.
Well,
All right.
Okay.
So thanks for advancing civilization with us this year. It's been a blast. It's been an awesome, wonderful,
Thank you
and
very
fantabulous year. We did did how many events did we do this year? We did Techpoint Build in January. We did
Tabs.
the blockchain summit March or April.
April.
Right?
Yeah.
Then we did the FinTech Summit by Techpoint Africa
last month.
just last month, and through this we saw a lot of podcast guys during this event. Yeah, we love you, we appreciate you, and yeah, I mentioned a surprise for you. If you can tell me the very first topic we discussed in January 2022, was it January
No,
2022?
was it?
January? Okay, the very first topic we discussed this year in the podcast, on the Techpoint Africa podcast. If you can tell us the topic, I have a surprise for you. So you can send your response to podcast@techpoint.africa. Copy any Techpoint email you want to copy. But yeah, that's the email that you should send it to. And I think
want
that's
to
it.
ask, who is your favorite podcaster?
Why do you want to cause fights this early
No. Please go ahead.
December? Yeah,
You would like
yeah.
to know that too.
But I mean, come on.
What is
You'll be surprised.
Should we take 1 minute to do manifesto?
Which manifesto? No.
Samuel will just break it.
Samuel will
Someone will be fine. This is the last episode. You are free to do anything you like.
Oh, okay. No worries.
When we will be back.
I'm not fit to do anything.
I cannot sleep.
When
Okay,
we will
guys.
be back.
Yeah, so we'll be back on January 4th. No, January 5th. Yes, we'll be back on January 5th. Yes. So see you guys till then. Of course, this is just Techpoint journalists going on break, so you won't see us together like this again till next year. But you will still be seeing videos on the Techpoint YouTube channel, on our social media, and of course TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, everywhere. You'll still be seeing videos of our interviews with experts. We're seeing holiday themed stories. You're going to be seeing predictions for the new year. Sometimes it will not just be me. Sometimes it will be any of these guys and their experts coming to talk about very, really interesting things. And yes, also if you are watching us or you are listening to us and you feel like, oh, this podcast could be better in this direction, please send your suggestions to Techpoint email podcast@techpoint.africa. And yes, I think that's a wrap for the year. Did I miss anything?
No.
Guys? Yes, yeah, watch out for the TFS videos on YouTube, and we'll be blasting them to your emails soon if you attended the TFS. Yeah, Pitch Friday. Yeah, we did the last version of Pitch Friday. Pitch Friday is going to be coming back with a bang next year, so just watch out for that. So yeah, if you're watching us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, anywhere you're watching this, know we love you and appreciate you. Then Bolu, let's get the final take for our audio lovers.
All right. If you're watching us on
No.
I'm sorry. It has been a while since I've done this. All right. Yeah, you can always find us on any podcast platform, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Hyatt Radio, or anywhere else you get your podcast.
You didn't add the usual fizzy that I was expecting. Did he?
No, I didn't.
He has lost touch, and I am glad.
Me too.
All right, people. See you.
Knowing you guys kisses. Mwah.
Bye.
See you.